it or not, Room 5 is the best. Take a look at what we do. We have 22 wonderful brains. We are the best. Believe it or not, we're the best. Filming for a live audience.
Good afternoon, and welcome to Room 5 Interview Show. My name is Lehman.
And I'm Amy. Today's guest is Miss Laura. She is a teacher at our school. Hello and welcome to our show.
Hi, happy to be here.
When you were a child, what did you want to be when you grew up? Why did you want to be that?
The earliest thing I can remember wanting to be was a photographer for National Geographic or for Greenpeace. I was very into saving the whales and things like that, and National Geographic, I either wanted to be an archaeologist or a photographer for some reason for National Geographic. And why was probably because I found the stuff very fascinating that I would see in the National Geographics coming home to my house, and there was one particular story on some Peruvian artifacts, and I am half Peruvian, and I remember thinking that would be fascinating to either be a photographer or an archaeologist and learn about these things. And with the Greenpeace thing, it was because I loved animals so much, and the idea of them getting hurt or anything was something that I wanted to help stop. That's why.
When and why did you decide to be a teacher?
Well, I started working with children since I was pretty much a child myself, so I started babysitting full-time in the summers when I was about 12. And from then until I was about 19, I worked with kids at every summer, babysat. So I used to have about 10 families on the go at a time. And when it came to choosing a career, it only made sense to me to continue working with children, and I could do that being a teacher.
What did you like best about being a teacher? What do you not like about being a teacher?
I was thinking about this as I was going to bed last night, and it is really hard for me to pinpoint exactly what it is I like about being a teacher. I don't think I like being a teacher. I love being a teacher. I can show you something just small and quick. You might not be able to tell on the camera, but I have a little boy, and this made me like literally tear up a little bit. A little boy, and this was his work in September. It's very simple and so on. And then yesterday I was working with him, and today I gave him some feedback, and then this is what he gave me when he showed me. And again, the details don't show, but that a child could show that much growth and improvement made me proud of myself, for sure. I mean, selfishly, I was proud of myself that I had managed to teach him this, but also that you could tell he just felt so good about himself and was just so genuinely happy, and I couldn't help but give him a big hug and feel so proud of him. So it's little moments like that, and then also just sometimes I'll stop whatever I'm doing and look around, and I'm like, this is my job. I get to work with these little squirrels and monkeys, jumping around the classroom, and the positive energy and the love, too. Love that I get from my kids and love that I feel towards my children is a big part of it. So on any given day, I think I've got the best job in the city.
And what don't you like?
Oh, what I don't like. Funny. The first little funny reason why I don't like is, or what I find kind of insulting sometimes, is when kids will be like, oh yes, I learned how to do this in my preschool 3 years ago, and I remember learning this in Bangladesh or in Argentina or wherever. Nothing to do with what we've been doing in class for the last month and a half or whatever. No, they learned it somewhere else and not from me and not from the practice that they've been doing in class. So that kind of thing drives me crazy. But on a serious note, I would say that it's when maybe it sounds cheesy, but when I feel like I'm failing a child, or have failed a child, like if I get to the end of the year and I realize, there was a kid or two that I didn't get to as much as I should have, it is like heartbreaking, and I feel helpless. So I try not to feel helpless. I try to educate myself and so that I can avoid that feeling, but sometimes I do feel overwhelmed and powerless sometimes.
What is your favorite children's book? Why is it your favorite?
I had trouble with that question. I brought 3, but I'll only maybe talk about the main one. And kids that were in my class before probably remember it. But Don't Let the Pigeon Drive the Bus by Mo Willems is definitely probably up there as my favorite children's book as a read aloud. And it's because it's funny and simple, but even though it's simple, even the higher readers, or whatever you want to call them, can practice fluency with it. And it lets kids be silly and crazy when I read it out loud in a legitimate way. They get to scream and be silly and have fun with it. And they're always the most popular books in my class, especially with the younger ones. They want to have them in their book bins all week, and they practice with them. So definitely Malone's Dora the Big Red Bus. I brought Olivia because she rocks as a female character, and William Steig's books because they're kind of dark and a little bit funny. They're a little bit weird. So anyway, those are my extras. But Dora the Big Red Bus.
What is your favorite children's movie? Why is it your favorite?
I think I forgot to think about that one. Favorite children's movie. I know hate is not a good word to use, but I'm not a fan of the whole princess phenomenon that's happening, especially with little girls or growing up to wanting to be princesses and all that. So I feel strongly against all the Disney movies that have princesses and so on. Recently, though, I did see Brave. And I wouldn't say it's my favorite children's movie for sure, but it's one that has come up as one that has a little bit more of a positive female role model, and feel a little bit better about that one. But as a child, my favorite movie I think was Black Beauty, because I loved horses.
Do you have any children?
I do. I have a beautiful daughter named Sydney, who my past students know about. She's 4.5, and the center of my life. Definitely changed the way I teach in lots of ways, but most of them good. Oh God.
Do you have any pets?
I have several. I have a cat named Kitty Tons, who came with an aggression warning from the Humane Society, and we wanted to adopt her because we wanted to find a cat that nobody else wanted. She was so beautiful. We kept coming back to her, and we were like, we can't take the prettiest cat. But then we saw that she had this warning of aggression, so we're like, yes, she's flawed, we can take her. And she's now very tame and loves us, and it's beautiful. And then I have a turtle. I've had it for about 15 years, BFT, and several fish, and some sea monkeys at home. That's it.
Where were you born? When is your birthday?
I was born in Kitchener, Ontario, and my birthday is on January 16th, 1976.
What is your favorite toy? Why is it your favorite toy?
As a mom, my favorite toy are building blocks and puzzles, because they allow, or building blocks specifically, because they allow for a lot of creativity, and you really have to think about what you're doing and so on, and you can see that reflected in what they build. As a child, sadly enough, I think my favorite toy was My Little Pony, which I wouldn't really recommend to my daughter anymore now, but when I was a little girl, I really liked playing with My Little Pony and reading. But as a child, My Little Pony, and as a mom, blocks.
What is your favorite place to go? Why?
I would say probably at the end of the day when I put my daughter to bed and I cuddle up with her. She still falls asleep in my arms and has every night for her entire life, which is probably me spoiling her, but I would say my favorite spot to be is curled up with her at the end of the day in my bed.
Thank you so much for being part of our show.
Join us next time for another interview on the Room 5 Interview Show.